Breaking news moments ago, President Biden will be speaking with French President Macron, German Chancellor Scholz, Italian Prime Minister Draghi, and Boris Johnson in Britain. This is happening at 9:15 a.m. Eastern. All of the leaders of these countries will be speaking about the state of the Russia-Ukraine conflict after that negotiation this morning. Meanwhile, the president revealed his massive $5.8 trillion budget yesterday, and it calls for a decline in defense spending. It's up 4%, but it doesn't keep up with inflation.
Under my plan, as I said, no one making less than $400,000 a year will pay additional single penny in taxes. No one. Now, I'm a capitalist, but if you can make $1 billion, great. Just pay your fair share. Pay a little bit. A firefighter and a teacher pay more than double the tax rate that a billionaire pays. That's not right. That's not fair.
Oh, God, he's whispering again as Americans are still facing record high inflation. Joining me right now is former CKE restaurant CEO and Heritage Foundation visiting fellow, Andy Puzder. Andy, thanks very much for being here. I know you said Americans are paying hidden taxes all along. Where are they hurting the most, and what is your assessment of the Biden budget, which I think is a reimagined Build Back Better plan?
Well, number one, it's really amazing to listen to the president speak because he's so disconnected with reality, at least economically. Look, these taxes, when inflation goes up and wage growth does not keep up with inflation, the people that pay that tax are working class Americans and middle class Americans, and they're getting hit at the pump. They're getting hit at the grocery store. They're getting hit trying to heat their homes in the winter, and they'll be hit trying to air conditioning them in the summer. The president's budget doesn't address the inflation problem. You need to address inflation by increasing the supply of goods or decreasing the demand for goods, and his budget doesn't even attempt to do either of those things. So it's very difficult to see how he can implement policies that would actually affect the inflation rate, and that's unfortunate because politically he's not doing what he needs to do in the best interests of American workers.
Yeah, Dagan McDowell, jump in here as I just show this NBC poll, Dagan, and it reveals 38% of Americans are blaming Joe Biden for the rising inflation numbers, Dagan.
I'm surprised it's that low. Andy, but you watch the Federal Reserve, and the central bank does look like it's going to try and get aggressive to control inflation, more so than maybe even the markets are anticipating. Is that good news or bad news? Because with an aggressive Fed comes pain. Either which way, you have the pain of inflation or the pain of an economic slowdown.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely right, Dagan, but I think we're going to have to experience a period of pain given what's happened over the past year. Look, we've had 2 months in a row where the wholesale inflation was up 10%. That's the highest it's been up in 40 years. And the wholesale inflation rate affects everything, the price of everything retail in coming months. You've got energy surging, which impacts the cost of everything because it impacts transportation costs. You've got wages increasing, which impacts the cost of everything because people have to make goods and then sell goods. So you're paying people more to do that. And then on top of that, we're going to have problems with the food chain because of the lack of fertilizer. We grow most of our own products here in the United States, but we need fertilizer to grow them. And there's going to be a cutback in fertilizer. So you've got all of these very, very macro things affecting the inflation rate. You really can't get away from surging inflation. So the Fed has to act by increasing interest rates because the Biden administration politically can't do what it needs to do. So the Fed's going to have to react. And that's going to be a lot of pain for American working and middle class families.
This is downright scary, Andy. We just spoke with Roger Marshall, senator from Kansas. He said we will see famine as a result of those food shortages and the need for fertilizer. Andy, thanks very much for being here and weighing in on all of this. Andy Puzder joining us this morning.